What really gets my dick hard is
So fucking what?
Welcome to Metal Up Your Podcast, episode 10. I'm Ethan Luck.
And I'm Clint Wells.
And we are back with another episode. This is a little more off the map, like we have told you many times we're going to do. We're not just doing records and members. This is our first episode that is about a specific show, or even more specifically, shows. 4 shows. This is the 30th anniversary shows.
Faux show.
Faux show. Show. I don't think I like that phrase. Torben, you're here already. I thought I'd drop by. It's
I
never
never left.
It's cold and rainy out, and I've just been hiding under your house. Oh, Torben, I'll give you a blanket. Okay, yeah. So we're going to talk about the 30th anniversary shows on this episode, and this is our 10th episode. This is a bit of a milestone episode for us. We made it to 10. We are about a month and a half in on this thing. We're at almost 3,000 listens in such a short time. So you guys, the fans, we have to thank for that. If you're fans of the podcast, you're listening, downloading, subscribing, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. To celebrate our 10th episode, we're going to have Dave Mustaine and Ron McGovney, Jason Newstead. They're all going to come and talk
they're all
us.
having dinner at my house right now, and then they're going to come down here to my studio.
And,
Ozzy's here too. King Diamond's in full makeup, and I appreciate him doing that and making the commitment. So
yeah.
But before we get into the 30th anniversary shows that took place in San Francisco, we're gonna get into some somewhat current event news. It won't be as current as this comes out later than what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, so Metallica just are wrapping up their week in Copenhagen, doing their 4 shows, and they had to cancel the second show because James got sick. And I don't know if you saw the first show; he's really sick during the first show.
Oh, when he asked the fans,
and
if
he asked the
finish.
fans, should we finish? Or he actually even says, "I want to go home."
Yeah, he said, "Oh yeah, I want to stop," and they started booing or something, and then they did it.
Yeah, they finished it. And I mean, how would you have felt being at that show, assuming it's like your one time to see them, like to make that trip? Honestly, I would prefer to cancel the show and like reschedule it and get them back in full force.
Well, I mean, I wonder, could they have scheduled it, the day after the 4th show, kind of thing? Or are they like...
They rescheduled it for September.
Oh, wow, that far out.
Well, the second show that they did end up canceling, they rescheduled for September.
Okay, September, okay. Yeah, I mean...
it was just a bummer because so many people like flew into Copenhagen for that show.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you can't fault them too much. I mean, there's probably a pretty hefty schedule we don't know about yet.
North American tour.
Yeah, summer tour for sure. I mean, I don't think they're going to wait terribly long to start touring this record like crazy. So... and I know they're doing like the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off thing, just to be home with family, stuff like that. I totally get it. So yeah, I mean, I'd assume according to their schedule, whatever's on the books that we don't know about, September made the most sense. So
I was pretty worried because I watched the videos of that show and it is pretty rough. He looks like he's struggling, and apparently Kirk has the flu also.
Oh wow!
So then it wasn't clear if they were going to cancel the second show. Then they did, and it was like, oh shit. And some people thought he might have actually like blown his voice out again.
Yeah.
But they just did the 3rd show last night, and he sounded about 90%.
Yeah, I saw some clips, and he sounded great.
So I was glad to see that, a couple of days recuperation.
Just a little cold or something.
Yeah. It also was announced this week that Metallica will be playing the Grammys with Lady Gaga.
Yeah, and as this episode is released, that will already have happened, but you can listen to us talk about it now because it's I've seen a couple of people, comments online and stuff. People, that's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I'm curious.
Yeah.
And here's the only reason is I don't own Lady Gaga records. I don't care for her music. I think there's some catchy stuff, sure, but it's not my thing. I don't care for it. I watched her Super Bowl performance. Again, don't care for her songs, but to see the commitment she puts into something, like she worked her ass off.
And she's talented. I mean,
she's very talented.
She can really
sing.
Play and sing.
Yeah.
She writes her own songs. There's a lot of things I do like about her a lot.
Of course, yeah. And I respect anyone that works that hard in music. And so, and I think Metallica is one of those bands too that works very hard. We talked about Lars always giving 100%. Even if you don't like his drumming, or whatever, he's never giving less than that.
Sure.
So I am a little hopeful that it could be something cool because they're both very hardworking artists that care about what they do, and it's going to be on national television. So.
Yeah,
I can't say I'm looking forward to it. I'm just very intrigued, and I'm trying not to throw out anything negative before anything happens.
I mean, I'd rather it be, if it's going to be some kind of pop icon, I'd rather it be her than goddamn Justin Bieber or something.
Of course.
But I do kind of wish that it was just their moment instead of having to share that moment with another massive star.
Yeah. Unless they do, something where they come out and they play like almost a full song and jump, and then she comes out to go into something else. I don't know.
It's probably not going to be like a standard performance. I'm sure something weird. Some people
What if
think
she comes out and does Marianne Faithfull's part?
if they do Memory Remains, a song from 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
why not?
Some people think they might do Nothing Else Matters and Gaga will sing it. I can't
Really?
imagine they're not going to play something off the new record. I think they're going to do Moth, maybe.
I would hope so. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm very curious.
I
to
do
see.
have to say, I thought the performance of One that they did on the Grammys a few years ago with Lang Lang was real bad.
It was real bad.
I was cringing.
There's a few things about that I didn't care for. One, the piano. I didn't dislike what that guy was playing. It was mixed so loud.
The mix was terrible
compared to the band. Hetfield, I remember, had some really good moments in that vocally.
But Kirk was kind of our sloppy Kirk, and
yeah, I got really excited when they were coming out, and then all of a sudden it was just like piano mix, so high. But I'm hopeful for this. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm not going to spew out any negativity about it just yet.
Don't you dare do that.
I won't dare do it. I might eventually. Once the Grammys happen and we record a podcast episode after that, maybe I'll be a little more angry.
Scathing.
Yeah. But yeah, and we would like to. Is that enough for our news segment?
Yeah, I think
you got
so.
anything else?
Nope.
Our last episode was our fan emails, fan top tens, and we hope you enjoyed that. And we're gonna try to do this every episode, not a fan thing for a while, but maybe pick one or two things to start each episode with. And so we got a really good email here from someone named Logan. Did Logan put his last name? Novak.
Logan Novak. What's up, Logan?
How you doing, buddy? Got your email yesterday at 9:14 p.m. Central Time.
Thank you for that detail.
Well, I figured it's in front of my face while I'm reading it. Might as well be. I'm trying to do.
You're being thorough.
I'm trying to be professional here.
We
okay?
pride ourselves on having a very thorough podcast.
Ethan, I think you're doing a great job. Thank you, Torben. Appreciate it. Anyway, so this is what Logan had to say. Hey, Clint and Ethan, I want to write you guys to let you know how much I'm enjoying the podcast. I can't tell you how frustrating it has been to search out podcasts dealing with a specific subject, band, movie series, etc., and find that it either doesn't exist or that it does, but only 5 or so have been released, and that was 3 years ago, and it was just plain that it was just abandoned. Feel lucky to have learned about your podcast on the Metallica forums. Sweet, Met Club. Right as it was premiering, and to listen to you guys as each episode is dropped. He actually talks about the Lady Gaga thing, about the news breaking about that. He said he's really looking forward to seeing what they do together. But
Cool.
All that to say, Logan, thanks for the email. There's a little bit more in there, but we got to get into this episode. But we appreciate your email. I appreciate you supporting it, listening to it from, I guess, pretty much day one. He saw it on the forums.
Right on.
Thank you, Logan.
It's good to know that my because I'm the primary one from our podcast who kind of posts there. So it's good to know that it's effective and I'm not just like trolling or spamming.
It's effective to one person at least.
I have at least hooked Logan.
Yeah, and you guys who we have replied to online, you may notice it seems like it's mostly me on like the social networking things, and you've kind of taken on all the forum stuff, Reddit and
which was
the Met
heavily
forums.
Pre-thought out.
So thought out. I was like, Clint, look,
we poured
I'm
over this for
such
months.
a social media guy. Consider myself a socialite.
We'll read one more email in a segment that we're thinking about calling Letters from Samim.
Yeah, Letters from Samim, or Samim's segment.
We have a fan named Samim who he actually sent us our first email on day one.
Very first, yeah.
And he's a very smart, articulate fellow, and he writes us very lengthy emails.
Oh yeah, they're very long, which we appreciate, by the way. We're not knocking at it.
No,
all.
I'm really happy to be on the forefront of Samim's burgeoning novel writing. He's starting his first novel writing with us. So
right.
Samim writes, wanted to let you know that I'm really enjoying the show. I'm sure it's not easy doing this every week, maybe having to work your life around it even. So I really appreciate the effort. That's cool. It is actually,
Yeah.
the show does require a bit more immersion into Metallica than I thought it would.
Right.
but I'm fucking loving every second of it.
Absolutely. And it also, like other people have written in, it gives us the chance to revisit things maybe we haven't listened to in a while.
Yeah.
You know, when we're preparing for an episode or whatever. That's a great point, Sameem. Thank you.
He goes on to say, the only episode I wasn't really satisfied with was the Hardwired one, as it felt a bit light in substance, probably because it's so new. Having a
True.
second look at the album down the road would be great, I think, especially in comparison with Death Magnetic, as the two post-Saint Anger Metallica coming to terms with their legacy albums. We're definitely going to revisit.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to revisit it. I was even listening to it the other day. Hardwired is what I'm talking about. And immediately I was like, we got to do another one.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah. I agree. He goes on to say, let me randomly go through some points. Okay. Ethan, your Torben is just fantastic.
Thanks.
Which I got to tell you, that according to the forum, because I asked a bunch of forum members, the people have spoken.
Yeah.
They like Torben. Thank you.
It means the world to me. Thank you.
Speaking of Torben, you were talking about him residing in Denmark in one of the episodes, but I think he lives in San Francisco now. I learned that from a tennis podcast he was a guest on. So we got that wrong.
I love that Torben was a guest on a tennis podcast.
Yeah.
That makes me smile.
Well, he says it's a really terrible interview. Sameem says, I'm a big tennis fan. I saw that randomly while skimming over the show's archives. Was really excited to listen to it, but man, it's so horrible. 45 minutes of barely articulated deep thoughts about tennis balls and quantum physics. I'm not kidding.
Tennis balls and quantum
You
physics.
have to listen to it so I'm not the only victim.
No, we don't, Sameem.
I think we'll take your word for
Yes,
it, bud.
we will.
Regarding Kirk's drug use, as long as you mean well and it's from a place of love, I don't see a problem with you speaking about it. Yeah, we agree.
Of course, yeah.
To Clint, no one pointed out my Unforgiven 3 mistake. I did in my first email, which is true, he did.
He did.
He caught it day one.
Yep.
I guess criticisms don't stick with you unless they're punctuated with kill yourselves and faggots. I'll remember that next time.
Thank you, Sameem.
Okay. He pointed us towards, we mentioned that we hadn't really seen a lot of places where James talks in depth about his lyrics. He pointed us towards the same...
The So What article?
The So What article.
Yeah, a couple
that-
people have written in about that, which we're thankful for.
He says, by the way, isn't Metallica.com incredible? Ridiculous amount of content and organized beautifully. I agree. It's one of the better current fan websites that I've ever seen.
Even just going on the discography page, I mean, there's so much about the records on there. Yeah, they did it. Whoever designed the website coded it and
just
did a great job.
Right. And just, but like all the live stuff they've posted, like all the tuning room stuff.
Yep.
I mean, they're really thoughtful about their fans.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
And then lastly, and Sameem did send some of his top lists, which are interesting, but we won't have enough time to get into that. But he ends it by saying, P.S. I've been now irrevocably traumatized by Clint's shameless reveal of his high regard for the Grammy Award-winning track Better Than You. And was going to skip the next episode in protest, but his reimagining of the Puppets album as a concept album was hilarious, so I'm considering us even for now.
Oh, we kept him. We kept Sameem.
Wow, just barely.
He's going to hang on.
I still submit to you all that if you go and play Better Than You in your car by yourself and turn it up loud, you will have a nice time.
Good time in your car?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have a nice time.
Like parked car or drive around or... Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I guarantee you, though, if you're driving, you will start driving faster.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I'm down. I'll give it a shot.
So anyway, so if you guys want to email us, it's metalupyourpodcastshow@gmail.com. We're going to read a few of these each week. It's the best way to directly engage with us, although you can also check in on all of our other social media bullshit.
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, we pay attention to all of it, so we are listening, and we hope you will keep writing in. That has been the first edition of Letters from Sameem.
Letters from Sameem.
We'll hear from Sameem again soon and have another segment on the next episode.
All right, so the 30th anniversary show.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Really cool.
Very cool. We were talking about this, as we do, before we started recording. I remember when these happened, I got so excited about them. I didn't know anything about what was going to happen at the shows other than they were doing 4 nights at the Fillmore in San Francisco, and that was December 5th, 7th, 9th, and the 10th of 2011. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's 11, right? Yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
And I just thought that was awesome. They were doing that in a small club, and I've played there. You've played there.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a rad room and a historic venue in Northern California. I remember the next morning after the first show happening, like just on YouTube, just searching everything I could, and videos started popping up like more and more each day. By the last show, I mean, so much stuff was up on YouTube, and I spent days outside of responsibilities I had, just watching all that stuff.
Right.
So when guys like Ron McGovney show up and Dave Mustaine and Newstead, King Diamond in full makeup, Glenn Danzig, all that stuff, it was so exciting.
Yeah, I bet I was kind of offline at that time in my Metallica journey.
Yeah.
So, as I've been becoming reinvigorated as we've been talking about this podcast for the last several months, it was quite a treat for me it was a lot of content for me to sort of binge on over the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've kind of been doing. It must have been really exciting though when it was going down.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely was. And I've revisited those videos, from time to time. Mostly, I mean, the highlight for me, which I'm sure is a lot of Metallica fans, is when Mustaine is out there playing songs from Kill 'Em All.
Oh, for sure.
It's so exciting.
Well, they end kind of the last show.
Yeah.
They sort of end the entire, jaunt with
Yep.
a bunch of Mustaine stuff.
Yeah, and it was like, not necessarily surprising he was there because the Big Four shows happened before this.
Right.
But still really cool that he's up there with them in a small club.
I would imagine that like whatever kind of piece they made to do those Big Four shows was one of the impetuses for having him come,
I would agree. Kind of crazy too that at these Big Four shows at one point, like the original lineup is in the building.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Of like Hetfield, Ulrich, Mustaine, and McGovney. Mm-hmm. That's insane.
At the Big Four shows or at the 30th anniversary
Big Four shows. I'm sorry, 30th anniversary. I'm getting mixed up here. Sorry.
Come on, dude. Come on, bro.
Cool. At least it's not an Outlaw Torn mix up again. But yeah, pretty cool that like the four, dudes
and
pre-Cliff
even,
Burton lineup was there.
And Hugh Tanner's there too, who co-wrote Motor Breath with James and who actually introduced James to Lars.
Yeah.
Like just an old high school bud.
I love the thought and care they put into these shows. It wasn't like, hey, let's just do 4 nights there. We'll bring up a couple guests, blah, blah, blah. Fans will be stoked. I mean, it was a fan club thing only. If you're a Met Club member, you got access to these tickets, which, by the way, were $6 or $19.81 for all 4 nights.
What an amazing! That's a gift.
And that's probably like early days pricing. That's
Sure.
probably why they did it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Or actually, I should just reread what I just said a second ago. 1981
Oh,
for all 4 nights, right in front of our faces. The price was
Wow.
1981, the year that Metallica started.
that's some deep shit.
That's deep shit. It's, like I said, it's very well thought out. So, not only are there details like that, but I mean, anybody that had to do with Metallica in some form that had some sort of importance in that band was there. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously Ray Burton's there, but yeah, I mean, Ron McGovney, like,
Yeah.
I know everyone knows who he is, but I mean, they got him to come out, like,
Yeah, and even like I just mentioned, Hugh Tanner, John Marshall.
right, John Marshall. I mean, everyone knows him from filling in for Hetfield 2
Right.
different times, But yeah, just really cool. I mean, it's another testament to how fan friendly they are and how much they care about their fans and how much they want their fans to be excited about something they're doing.
It does, like, especially watching the sort of banter in between the songs, it definitely felt like a family event.
Oh yeah,
Just the way they were interacting with their fans and in both ways, like respect both ways. And I think
Yep.
every night they had Met Club members come up and play a song with them.
yep, totally.
77 different songs.
77.
Which
different
you were
songs.
telling me earlier, I didn't know this detail, but how long did they rehearse before?
Don't quote me on this. I'm pretty sure I read online that they did 8 like official rehearsals.
Wow.
7 or 8 beforehand, and that James was so antsy to start the first show that
he was
came
playing
on
the
stage.
drums,
Yeah,
yeah.
he came on stage first and jumped on the drums and was like yelling in the mic for everyone to come out and Lars to get out there. It was like I said, probably a ton of setup for this thing. A lot of
for sure.
legwork on their part. Getting all these people flown in from all over the country, all over the world, and finally the day is there.
Well, and like I think the Met Club members who got to come up and play, that was like a contest.
Okay.
And even just like, even from a technical standpoint, which you and I both know that world, having, big names like Ozzy Osbourne and Geezer Butler, and like having in-ear mixes for all these people and guitar changes, and
Yeah, big undertaking.
it's just
for
a
sure.
big deal.
Yeah,
And
in a small club.
I just recently kind of watched all 4 shows, binged on it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of hiccups. I mean, there were some problems, but mostly.
I got something to say.
Well, that didn't have anything to do with anyone other but Glenn Danzig
True.
and his, I guess, completely shot vocal cords forever.
Oh man.
So I guess we were going to kind of just talk through the set list. We're not going to like
Yeah,
spend
for
a lot
sure.
of time on each song, but there were so many little gems and rarities. I mean, this was the first time they ever played Carpe Diem Baby, which is one
Yep.
of my favorite Metallica songs.
Yep. Oh yeah.
They debuted all the songs from what would end up becoming Beyond Magnetic.
Yeah. They released online a song every show day, and
Oh,
then
they released a studio
and then,
version.
and then the day after the show, I think it was on December 11th of 2011. They actually released the EP digitally,
Very cool.
which went on to sell 250,000 copies. By the way, a 4-song EP.
That's the mighty Metallica.
That is. Maybe Metallica will release my music. That's probably not going to happen.
Well, you know who can help you do that.
I think I do.
Here's something though, like, so because I'm a guitar nerd, I
Yeah.
wrote down all the different guitars that Kirk and James used.
You did.
Is that worth mentioning? Maybe just like when it's an unusual guitar.
I mean, we can just mention it. You know, like you say, Carpe Diem Baby was a live premiere. James played his Black Truckster. Kirk played the White Ouija. Lulu joke.
Yeah, well, they made a Lulu joke before
Yeah.
the song that I wanted to mention. So let's just kind of go through it. The first two shows are actually kind of hard to find in full. Shows 3 and 4 are in full on YouTube.
Yeah. I've
Shows
seen
1
those.
and 2, you kind of have to piece it together, and then some of the songs aren't available at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of guitar they played for those. Is what I'm trying to say.
Come on, Clint.
So at the beginning of the first show, Ray Burton comes out and tells a few stories about Cliff, which is pretty cool.
That's very cool. I mean, what a great way to intro a 30-year anniversary show. And like we said before, I mean, Metallica includes Ray Burton and the Burton family so much. And it's like he's just, you know, the living embodiment of his son when he's around those guys.
Right.
I mean, people look up to Ray like it's freaking Cliff, you know. So I thought that was great that he got to intro the shows.
Yeah. Track 1, they open each show with an instrumental. They open this night, for night 1 with Call of Cthulhu.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
Very cool.
And it sounded great too. That's one, I think because they've played that one more, they have that one a bit more dialed in.
Yeah, they've played that a ton.
Like To Live Is To Die and Suicide Redemption are little rough, but Call of Cthulhu has sounded good since they've been started doing it around the S&M world.
Totally.
Then they do No Remorse.
Which I did read online today that this version of No Remorse was the first time they went into the third solo and third verse since '85 or something crazy.
So what does that mean? Like that they've
They've shortened it.
They just
I
shortened it
guess.
for live purposes.
Yeah, probably.
And then because this is like a retrospective show, they were like, let's just do the full thing.
Yeah, I mean, they pulled out some awesome songs for this thing. I mean, right into Shortest Straw.
Yeah, that's killer.
Yeah, not a commonly song, you know, commonly live played song, but
Right.
James played the White Snakebite and Kirk played the Mummy.
Which I got to say, man, these Snakebite guitars, James's kind of new ESP.
Yeah.
They look like Explorers, but they have this cool little contour in the
Yeah.
bottom. He's got a black one and a white
They're
one.
real cool.
I haven't wanted a pointy guitar so bad since this
I know.
fucking Snakebite
I
guitar.
know. It's pretty rad.
He plays this white Snakebite for the beginning of almost every show.
Yeah.
And Kirk with the Mummy, the kind of orange Mummy guitar, which is classic Kirk.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been playing the Dracula and the White Zombie one a lot more in the last few years, but
Yeah.
I remember seeing the Mummy one decades ago. Like he's
yeah.
played that one for a long time.
I really miss the Black Jackson from
Yeah.
the Blackout, the V.
He used to play that For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh,
That was
rad.
kind of that. And another one that I'm spacing on, but that's what I was associated it with.
Yeah.
Then they played Leper Messiah, which I was bummed that you can't find video of that because that's one of my favorites to see live because it's such a rarity.
Yep, it definitely is.
Then they played The Day That Never Comes, which is rad.
Yeah, I just listened to Death Magnetic the other day, or like about half of it when I was running some errands. I love that song.
Yeah, I do too.
It's like one of those, you know,
Track four Yeah.
classics.
Then they do the live premiere of Carpe Diem Baby, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not it doesn't really translate as well live. I mean, it was the first time they played it. I think they've since played it only 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But they do make a Lulu joke because they're,
What does he say? I don't remember.
I think James or Lars is saying like, does anyone have this next song we're about to play, we've never played live. Does anyone know what it is? So they're kind of like seeing if anyone in the crowd knows. And then I think Lars goes, we're just going to play Lulu, the whole Lulu record. And people audibly boo.
That's such a bummer. I mean, I kind of agree, but
But if I was there, dude, I mean, because in one of the shows, I think show 2, they actually bring Lou Reed up and play some Lulu shit.
they do a Velvet Underground song too.
They do 2 Lulu songs and a Velvet Underground too.
Yeah.
And the crowd is definitely not loving it.
Even though it's Lou Reed.
But I'm like, if I was there, I would have been all in.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever you guys are throwing at me, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, I'm in a tiny club in San Francisco, California, watching Metallica.
I mean, I don't get it, but then in the live premiere of Hate Train, which
Yeah,
is
from
one of
the-
the Beyond Magnetic
Yep.
songs, which we're going to do a whole episode on Beyond Magnetic. I haven't spent a ton of time with those songs. They're okay.
Okay, yeah. There's a reason they didn't end up on Death Magnetic.
Right.
And that episode may not be super long. It's only 4 songs, but
Then, in my opinion, is the sort of first not great moment of these 4 shows.
Yeah,
They covered
I agree.
Please Don't Judas Me, a Nazareth cover, acoustic, and man, it is just kind of long and boring, and not tight.
but it's also night number 1.
It's night number 1, and they're trying shit out.
They're ironing out the kinks. Yeah,
They didn't have to like drum up all these cool obscure covers.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's neat, you know. But it is funny. So after they do this, they do Wherever I May Roam, and they bring up a Met Club member.
Yeah.
And they're sort of jokingly saying, "Do you know how to play guitar? Like, do you know how to play this song?"
Yeah.
And Lars in the mic, because they give Lars a mic, and Lars goes, "Does anyone know how to play Please Don't Judas Me?" And James goes, "Don't even start."
that's amazing. I love that.
So they do Wherever I May Roam with a Met Clubber who does a really good job. He's like,
Well, surely,
real
I mean, it was a
stoked.
contest, so they
Yeah.
probably submitted videos or something.
I think you submit videos of you playing a bunch of Metallica songs.
Okay, then they pick you for whichever song and stuff.
But he's real stoked on it.
Oh, I would be. Would you not?
Oh,
I'd be
fuck
so
yeah.
nervous
I would too.
hand-
What song would you pick to do with them?
if I got to pick a song.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, what song would you just absolutely murder?
well, I'm hesitant to say like, oh, dude, I would love to do Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if I would be so nervous that I would be like, and like stiffen up. You know, I mean, I don't get nervous often when I perform, but if
Yeah.
it's Metallica, I'm standing next to Hetfield playing an Explorer. Might choose something like, you know,
A little easier.
yeah, maybe like even like Creeping Death. You know,
That would be my pick.
I wouldn't be touching the leads or anything.
Or you know what you would kill, like, if you were worried about being nervous, is like something like For Whom the Bell Tolls.
oh yeah, for sure.
Just like
yeah.
easy plotting.
Although
awesome.
although I wouldn't mind doing like Fade to Black and like hitting that harmony with Kirk. You know.
Ooh. See, that would be one I would worry about blundering because it's so complicated. It's not necessarily fast. Like,
Yeah.
for me, Puppets or Creeping Death is just like muscle memory, chugga shit.
Yeah.
It's not like a delicate song.
Yeah.
You know?
What if you were cocky enough and you're like Blackened? Damage
Well,
Inc.
on the 4th night, they a husband and wife do Blackened. She plays drums and he plays guitar.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, so good. Yeah. Okay. So then after that, they do a Sabbath True with John Marshall.
Yeah, which John Marshall was the dude who played guitar when James burnt his arm.
was his tech,
which
yeah.
is pretty cool.
Hey, any techs out there? Listen, learn your guys' songs.
Yeah.
The band you work for, learn the tunes because you never know when a random pyro accident will happen.
You never know when your lead singer is going to burst into flame.
Yeah.
Then Robert does Anesthesia, which I like.
Very
He
cool.
does it well. Anytime he does Anesthesia, I always think to myself, I don't think Jason could have done that.
Well, he's playing with his fingers, and there's obviously there's a different sound there. You
He's
could
just-
still do with a pick, but
He's just a better bass player.
he is a better bass player. I don't think I'm not arguing that. I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
definitely a better bass player, more technically skilled, but he does a really good job. I'm sure he played that years and years ago, even before he was in Metallica, and he wants to obviously do it justice. So
Right.
he's great job, Robert.
Then they do No Leaf Clover with Apocalyptica, which is a great idea.
Amazing. I love Apocalyptica.
And we both love that song so much.
Oh, yeah.
But then, this is probably my favorite moment of this show. The band leaves except for James, and they do one with Apocalyptica, just James singing with Apocalyptica. And it's
So cool.
fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. I think those dudes are all Swedish.
Are they?
I think they might be from. And someone you can email me and tell me what an asshole I am. At least I think they're all Scandinavian.
Which you can send that email to Ethan, even if he's right about this, by the way.
Yes, please.
But then the band does come in for the blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will say, as soon as the band starts playing, you can't hear a single fucking moment of the
You can't hear
strings.
cello
It's
at all.
gone.
Yeah. It's out of the building.
But the intro, like all the complicated, really cool melodic stuff, sounds so good as a quartet.
Oh,
with
yeah.
those cellos. Then they do Harvester. So then they bring out Jason.
They bring out
Newsted,
Jason, and the
which-
crowd
which is a
goes-
really cool crowd moment.
Oh yeah, the crowd goes crazy. I mean, imagine if you were there. Like, I mean, the only guests you've seen so far is somebody from the Met Club and Ray Burton, right? Am I correct? Yeah.
So far,
And John
yeah.
Marshall.
Yeah, John Marshall and the Met Club guy. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're going into Harvester of Sorrow, and then they bring Jason Newsted out. Like you got to be wondering if you're in the crowd. Like, I wonder if this person's going to be there.
Right.
Night number one, you have no idea what's going to happen.
I wonder if they really kept a lid on those kind of surprises, or I wonder if it kind of leaked.
I don't know. Maybe. either way, that had to have been so exciting.
There is
to
a really
watch him.
funny moment in this. Like, I fully believe, from what I can glean and tell, that Robert and Jason are totally cool. That there's
yeah.
everything's cool,
For
cool
sure.
in the gang. But as Jason comes out, like looking all badass, like just ready to murder.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Robert was just maybe even subconsciously feeling a little threatened. So he goes up to the mic to kind of, in what reminded me of what Jason used to do, is like hype man stuff.
Yeah.
And attempts to yell like a really like brutal, "Come on!" But it comes out so weird, dude. Come on! Like it just comes out sounding.
Jason.
It comes out sounding not brutal at all.
Because Jason did have that brutalness to his voice when he was hyping up the
Oh
crowd.
yeah, dude, the best. And his BGVs on Harvester of Sorrow are really great.
Oh yeah. And I think you were telling me earlier that, like, didn't you say that you heard he got to choose what songs he wanted
Yeah,
to play?
so I think the ones that... So Jason did 2 songs a night, and then he also did the Seek and Destroy.
Right.
Each night they ended with Seek and Destroy, and every special guest from that day plays on Seek and
Yeah,
Destroy.
which is great.
Which, I mean, that's a lot going on, but pretty neat.
Very neat.
So then they do Damage Inc. And this is actually funny, too. Just another 1-2 punch on old Robert. Is Robert goes and gets a 5-string bass, and James in the mic goes... shoot a 5-string bass? He's like, Jason only needs 4 strings.
I remember that. Totally ripped Robert right in front of the crowd. Jason only needs 4.
And it's almost like Jason just like is going to pull Robert aside and be like, look, after 15 years, they were ready to let me go. Like, you have no job security in this band.
Totally.
Just keep your head down, motherfucker.
Just don't start a band called Echo Brain.
Then they do a Saxon cover called Motorcycle Man with Biff Bifford. Which is okay. James, when they do these cover songs with their heroes that come out with them,
Right.
James looks like a fucking kid, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He looks so stoked.
Even if we're kind of like, yeah, I don't really care for that.
but just the joy in James
oh, it's amazing.
being with his heroes, honoring the band he made.
Yeah, and that's another one of those things about how much detail they put into this. Like, what are the artists that influence us? I mean, it shows on a lot of songs they've covered over the years. But yeah, I mean, bringing out, Biff, is it Byford or Biff?
I don't know how to say it.
I would imagine Byford, Biff Byford. But still,
I'm going to call him Biff Bifford, bro.
Biff Bifford. But yeah, really cool. I mean, yeah, if you watch those videos, you could see the excitement in James's face. Like, he is a teenager all of a sudden.
So then they bring out Sean Harris and Brian Tatler from Diamond Head and play The Prince.
Prince.
It's
Great
Electric.
B-side.
They do The Prince, It's Electric, Helpless, and Am I Evil? A lot of Diamond Head. Yeah.
But I mean, Helpless, Am I Evil, and the Prince are all. I mean, did they ever record It's Electric?
I don't think so. It was like definitely the live debut, I think.
But yeah, I mean, Am I Evil has become a Metallica song.
For sure.
I mean, most people that aren't deep into Metallica wouldn't even know that at this point. They're like, oh, Am I Evil? It's a Metallica song.
I mean, Metallica, these are like bands that Metallica wouldn't exist if these bands hadn't
Yep.
been there to influence them.
Agreed.
But Metallica are so responsible for bringing these songs and these bands to the forefront.
Yeah.
I never would have heard of Merciful Fate or Diamond Head. I mean, I'm just being honest. I wouldn't have.
The first time I heard any Misfits song was because of the Garage Days EP.
Me too.
You know?
Me too. So then they end the night with Seek and Destroy. Not much to say about that. All the guests played it. Kick ass. Great day one. I mean, if I was a Met Club member that had tickets to all 4 shows, I would have gone home that night real goddamn happy and real fucking
Yeah.
excited.
Oh, man, I think you would have an erection for 4 days. I mean,
Well, that's me every week.
well, I know, but
I actually have to go see a urologist about that. I think.
maybe I should see a doctor about that.
See a doctor about my erection.
So, December 7th, 2011, the second show.
So they had a day off, but I think they spent the day off rehearsing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'd imagine they booked out the Fillmore for about almost 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure they had like a little Metallica museum in the front too. Like, there was a separate room you could go through, and like they did it at the Orion Festival. There's like a Metallica museum of old memorabilia, old guitars.
Oh, really?
Things like that. Yeah, you can look it up online and find photos.
They're
of
actually
it.
doing that on the Hardwired tour now too.
I saw they did pop-up stores.
Well, they're doing pop-up stores, I think, after the shows, but there are different levels of experience called experiences. You can buy the Hardwired experience, which is you get to get there early. You get to eat at the Spit Out the Bone buffet.
Oh, we are so doing
You
that.
get to do it costs $2,000.
Whoa.
So I don't know if we are doing that.
Yeah, I don't know how our wives will feel about that
You
one.
get to eat, you get some free drinks, you get to hang with the band like more than a meet and greet. And James doesn't do the meet and greets anymore, but James actually shows up to these.
Oh, he does. Okay.
And then you get to hang out for a couple of hours in like a memorabilia area where they have like gear that's all hooked up. You can like play their gear.
Wow. Okay.
Like you
I'm
can
looking
play
around my studio right now, like, which guitars am I going to sell to get this ticket?
But then they have another one, and then I think the third tier is the Unforgiven experience, where
Oh, man.
you just get like I think early access to the rail
Okay.
because they're doing an in the round tour.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the fucking U.S. tour is going to be a stadium tour, by the way. But the
it is?
Copenhagen shows are in an arena,
Yeah.
which
I
I'm
mean,
kind of bummed
they
about.
they could do in the round in a stadium.
The stadium shows they did in Asia were not.
They
in
were
the
not.
round.
Yes, correct.
But you can do an in the round in a stadium.
Why not? It's
I
just
guess
a
that- I
bigger
guess-
arena with no roof.
I guess that's.
I mean, I'm right.
You tell the truth, man.
Hey, man,
I gotta hand it
I
to
don't
you,
bullshit
dude.
here on
Don't
Metal Up Your
fucking
Podcast.
lie to me, dude.
That's all a stadium is a bigger arena with no roof. It's a convertible arena.
I like how much passion
You know
are when
something,
say
Clint?
that.
I think Eason's right. You should listen to him. He's
I
wise.
think an arena is just a larger. I don't. Okay, my turban sucks. My turban will
Okay.
derail anything. So here's the deal. So I have on my notes that Ray Burton talks about Cliff. I think I copy and pasted that on night 1. I think Ray actually does talk at the beginning of night 2. I don't know how night 1 begins because that's not on YouTube.
Okay.
So when
okay.
Ray comes out to tell some stories about Cliff, that's actually the beginning of night 2, which we're about to get into.
Got it. Okay.
So we've already kind of talked about that. Continuing the opening with an instrumental, they do "To Live Is to Die,"
One of my favorite instrumentals.
which is my favorite instrumental.
Such I mean, what a great opener if you're going to open with instrumentals.
But they don't play it great.
Yeah.
There's some Kirk strays off the path of which those are some of my favorite Kirk solos
Oh, agreed.
on
Yeah.
record, and
Yep.
it just kind of is a bummer that he kind of hits like the first few bars of it. So
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, that's it, and then it's just like Kirk Womit. As,
Womit.
as I've the wah wah
The why
Kirk
for
Womit.
sure. Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman, which I could take or leave that song, but were they going to go through these 4 shows without playing Enter Sandman? I don't see if that's even possible.
Let's see, out of 77 songs, I think Enter Sandman can slip in there. And then sticking with the Black Album, still Holier Than Thou after that, which is cool.
Which is
Again,
awesome.
they don't play it that often nowadays. I rarely ever see it.
I see we've already bailed on saying what guitar they're playing for every
Yeah, we
song.
kind of did. Well, okay, on Enter Sandman, James plays the Kale Explorer, Kirk plays the Mummy guitar.
The Kale Explorer is that Ken Lawrence, that really beautiful brown Explorer.
Yeah, with the crazy headstock. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like the dragon inlay.
Yeah.
So then they do one of my favorites. I know one of yours too, Disposable Heroes.
Yeah. What guitars are they playing?
Man, thank you for asking, dude. James
no
was playing
problem.
the
I'm
White
curious.
Iron Cross guitar, which is one of my least favorite of James's.
Yeah.
And Kirk was playing this like black ESP with this green glow thing, which is also one of my least favorite Kirk
Yeah.
guitars.
Into Bleeding Me.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, very good.
They've always performed that song really well. That was one they always did live
Yeah.
from the Load Reload era. That one always made it into the set. Then Wasting My Hate, which is pretty rare.
Very rare, yeah.
And they do that one pretty good.
I love that they go into My Apocalypse too, which
Yeah,
I've noticed on the set list recently, you're not seeing much from Death Magnetic.
I know.
Kind of bums me out.
It makes me wonder if just like to them, it just didn't rise.
Is it
hasn't.
like another Saint Anger to them?
I don't think it's like that.
Not that bad, but you know what I mean. Like, we'll just skip that record.
I mean, I'm trying to think on the current tour, they haven't played anything from Death Magnetic,
At least The Day That Never Comes.
or That Was Just Your Life.
There's some great songs on that record.
I know.
Metallica, I know you're listening, so will you please add some stuff in, at least for like if there's a Nashville show,
I will
add it in
say-
for us.
I will say on the World Wired tour though, they played that record a lot. I mean, they played like 8 or 9 songs from the record almost every night. So maybe they're just sort of over it.
Oh, maybe.
And maybe none of the songs were really strong enough to like kind of be classics. So if they're gonna tour
may
a
have
new
to
record, they're
disagree.
gonna do their new record plus classics.
Yeah, I mean they are a band of almost 35 years.
35 years, yeah. Then they do another debut from Beyond Magnetic, Just a Bullet Away. Mm-hmm. I don't have much to say about it, just because I don't know. I don't know.
Of course, yeah, totally.
It was like Sameem saying that one episode had no substance. Come on, Sameem.
It's a meme.
Just because we couldn't talk about each track in depth doesn't mean that episode didn't have substance. It was very substantive.
Bread Fan.
Bread Fan, which they bring up a Met Club member to play.
That's very cool. And they've been opening with that lately. I know they did the Asia shows. They were opening with Bread Fan.
Yeah, cool.
Which is cool, like a B-side. Like
Yeah, they open one night with Kill the Lights too.
hit the lights?
Or hit the,
Kill them all the lights.
Kill All Them Lights. Sorry.
Kill all the lights,
I'm
master.
like looking at all these songs and I'm like, my brain's getting jumbled.
I know there's a lot of song titles in front of us right now. Folks.
I'm suddenly worried that this episode is boring.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wish I wish we could take live calls. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be fucking awesome.
Call in right now if you think we're sucking. You know that people just call and be like, "Can I talk to Torben, please?"
You should do have like a Torben hotline.
Oh, Torben hotline. Yeah, for sure.
By the way, one of the dudes on the forum has dubbed you Totally Torben.
Totally Torben.
He's combined both things funny about you,
That's
which is
great.
that you say totally a lot and that your Torben impression is very good.
You know, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Maybe we should just blow through the songs a little faster.
Yeah. Okay. Memory Remains
With Marianne Faithfull.
With Marianne Faithfull, which is awesome.
Which she does a good job because if you see the SNL performance of that, she does a la da 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 in a completely different key. Have you seen that?
It's been a while. I need to rewatch it.
Real rough.
Turn the page with Kid Rock.
Well, you skipped Killing Time.
Oh, you're right. Sorry,
Sweet Savage
you have some
cover.
of these highlight or like in bold.
The ones that
some-
aren't in bold are the ones I couldn't find video of. Come on, man. I have a system, bro.
Oh my gosh, you should have told that to me before. Jeez.
I'm sorry. I actually
Time.
care about this podcast.
Well, you know what? Fine. I'm fucking quitting. You know what? Welcome to Melody Podcast with Clint and nobody else. Killing Time is a rad song.
Yeah. There's audio. All these songs that I couldn't find video for, there are audio videos.
Okay.
If that didn't make sense.
There are audio
There's
videos.
a YouTube video with nothing but audio.
Yeah.
Okay. Turn the Page of Kid Rock sucks dick, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with Kid Rock. I've had a few bus drivers that drove him and say he's actually a really legit cool guy.
I've got. He lives in Whites Creek, Tennessee.
Oh,
Like,
really?
He lives next door to my friend, like on 100
Like
acres.
I've heard that on a personal level, he's super legit.
I met him one time years ago when I worked this MTV show that filmed in Nashville, and he was super nice.
I've just heard he like cares a lot about his crew and
Yep, definitely.
and he's friends with Metallica. So, but none of that will stop me from saying I even wrote in all caps next to the song sucks.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Four Horsemen with John Bush, which
very cool.
great fucking
singer.
180 degrees. It is awesome. He kills it.
John Bush is an insanely talented singer. He's very good. I mean, if you listen to any of the Anthrax stuff he did, I mean, you know he's a great singer.
I will say none of these songs where they had guests did I prefer the guest over James, except for this.
Yeah.
I actually this dude just brought that sort of early 80s thrash to it. James hasn't been able to do in a while.
Right.
Okay, now we have...
Here we go.
Now we have the Lou Reed moments. Iced Honey, which I actually think is a pretty cool song. But I made a note. Dude, Lou Reed looks just like an old Jason Newsted. So I wrote...
You're kind of right.
I wrote Jason Newsted's dad.
Question mark? Music, awesome.
Yeah, like, I get it. The vocals are hard to get past.
Yeah.
But the music actually is pretty fucking
Yeah.
cool. Then they do The View, which I think just all around does suck.
Yeah, I'm not into it at all. We can go to the next song.
White Light, White Heat, awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
you're
Velvet
doing a Velvet
Underground,
Underground song,
classic
yeah.
Velvet Underground song.
Here comes Newstead again.
And then they bring back Newstead, Creeping Death, which
And Battery.
Creeping Death and Battery.
Back to back. Gosh.
Very cool.
Again, Met Club members who were there. You're sitting there watching Jason Newsted come back out for night 2.
Yeah.
Playing Creeping Death into Battery. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
And especially just to get Jason on the die part.
Oh my gosh.
And the motherfucker die that Robert and Kirk even Robert and Kirk together can't really fill the
it's
hole
true.
of Jason.
Yeah, you all know it.
You all fucking know it, bro.
Yeah, you do.
And then they end the night with Merciful Fate. It's the
time
first
since
time Merciful
93.
Fate's played since 93.
That's cool. I mean, hey, it took Metallica to get them back together. That's awesome.
I, for some reason, wrote Ride the Lightning Connection to Kirk, and I don't know what that note is in reference to. So that's just forever lost in the cosmos.
Fair enough. And then, of course, ending night number 2 again with Seek and Destroy with everybody coming out.
Yep. Another good fucking show, dude.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
night number 3.
Night number 3.
December 9th, 2011. This is the third show.
So this is actually cool. James comes out and talks a little bit about Cliff. They actually talk about Cliff, I think. They talk about Cliff every night. Except for the first night, I don't know what they said.
Yeah.
But James talks about Cliff, and then the band honors the Met Club and like Metallica HQ staff.
That's awesome. You think HQ staff includes like the road crew, all that stuff?
Yeah, they bring like the woman who's like in charge of. Oh wait, let's see. Is this night 4? No, yeah, this is night 3. Like the lady that's in charge of like their green room, that takes care of their clothes and their hospitality.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's been doing it for like 20 years. They honor her, and they honor, I think, their front of house guy who's kind of famous amongst Metallica fans.
Big Mick.
Big Mick.
Oh yeah.
And they have like pictures of their staff and crew like on the screen behind
Yeah.
them.
That's
And man, they're
awesome.
like hugging them, and they're just like, these are the people that take care of us and make us comfortable, and they really do treat it like a family.
That's great.
It's
which,
pretty cool.
Which is awesome. I wish every band was like that.
They open with Suicide and Redemption, which I think is pretty rad.
It is cool.
It's kind of a shaky performance.
You think is that the only time they've played it? I wonder.
No, I think they did play it on the World Magnetic
Okay,
Tour.
that's just one random little thing. I don't
but
think I've ever bothered
it's
to
probably
look
it's
up.
definitely low on the list of times they have played it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had to rehearse the shit out of it. And if you revisit the video, it's obvious that it's pretty shaky.
Yeah.
Into Master of Puppets, I mean,
Yeah. What do you-
fucking barn burner.
yeah, totally.
And,
And Justice for All.
which just 1-2 punch of thrash.
Into of Wolf and Man. Gosh, this is a great. Oh my god. I'm skimming ahead.
I think
forgot.
night 3
Oh.
is my favorite night.
Yeah, this is pretty badass.
But yeah, so then they do A Wolf and Man, Fade to Black, The Thing That Should Not Be, I Disappear, which I like I Disappear.
I think it's okay. I don't love it, but
yeah. I don't really like the hey.
yeah.
But
there I go.
it just gets old. But I like the chorus though.
Yeah, I believe was I Disappear the last thing.
Last Jason Newsted.
Last Jason track. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so then we go into probably the song that we're most known for here on Metal Up Your Podcast, The Outlaw Torn.
I don't know if I know that one.
Is The Outlaw Torn in the 30th anniversary shows?
Let me look at the list of songs here. I don't think they played it that night.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, if they would have played it, I wish James would have played his White Iron Cross ESP and Kirk would have played his
Yeah,
Mummy ESP.
I'm pretty sure
but,
they
you
did
know,
not.
I don't think
they
it was
did
there.
Outlaw Torn during the 30th anniversary shows.
You guys stop it. I know you're sitting there listening going, oh, I'm going to fucking email Ethan. Yeah, Outlaw Torn they played.
Which I gotta say, without the orchestra, is kind of boring.
I mean, that's a pretty epic version. Yes, I know it's on S&M.
The song is killer. I love the recorded version, but live, it's just like, it's long, dude. It's like 9 minutes of like
it's a long song.
slow groove rock.
Yeah.
But it's such a treat, and I love the song so much that I'll take it, even if it's a little boring.
Yep. World premiere or live premiere, whatever, of Hell and Back, also from Beyond Magnetic.
Yep.
Not great.
Blitzkrieg with Met Club Fan,
Love Blitzkrieg.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
For Whom the Bell Tolls with Jerry Cantrell.
Oh, that's so good.
Which, here's what kind of bums me out about it, is he doesn't do any lead, which you and I are both Alice fans.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great guitar
He's an
player.
incredible guitar
And he
player.
doesn't do any singing on,
He's a great vocalist.
like, he could have taken a verse or something.
yeah, you're
But
correct.
he just kind of does diamonds and
still cool that he's there, but I mean, or even on the next song, he plays a Nothing Else Matters, like,
he sings on Nothing Else Matters.
yeah,
though.
which is great.
Yeah,
I love his voice.
I love his voice. There's some pitchy.
Yeah.
He's not pitchy because he can't sing. It's probably an in-ears thing.
Yeah.
But I'm such a big Jerry Cantrell fan and Alice fan that I just love. I love that they're friends. I love seeing them up there.
Oh yeah, it's great. Which I mean, I don't know when we would talk about this. Maybe in the Load Reload episodes when they were at the Alice in Chains Unplugged when they cut their hair.
That's right.
That would be fun.
And Mike Inez had the Friends Don't Let Friends Cut Their Hair. Or
yeah,
whatever.
friends don't let friends give friends haircuts. I think. Something
Friends
like
Don't Let Friends Outlaw Torn S&M.
S&M. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah, got it.
Then, you know what I think? I think the whole Outlaw Torn thing would die if we would just
we
let
keep
it.
bringing it up.
But I'm just loving putting it on life support, just keeping it
That's
in
fine,
a
that's
vegetable,
fine.
vegetated coma state,
I love that they go into So What Next with Animal.
which is pretty wild. That dude's a character, man.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the song that James initially blew his voice out on during the Black Album sessions.
Tuesday's Gone, Jerry Cantrell, Gary Rosington of Leonard Skinner, Jim Martin, and
Faith
Pepper
No More.
Keenan.
I love that Jim Martin from Faith No More was there. I mean,
Yeah.
they're old friends.
And Pepper Keenan's from Down.
Right. Well, and Jim Martin and Cliff Burton were like homies back in the day.
Well,
like in Northern
I think they
California.
lived together.
Yeah, and they had a band together and stuff.
Right.
And yeah,
So that's pretty cool.
very cool.
I will say, though, that the performance does suck.
yeah, it's not great. Sorry, guys.
And believe me, I don't relish saying it. I'm just giving you guys the goddamn straight shine.
And here we go. Newstead again.
Back with Newstead, Fuel, which I've always loved.
Love that song.
And they kick ass. I love his harmonies in the chorus.
Yeah.
And then an interesting choice, I thought, Fight Fire with Fire, which is just thrash city, but interesting choice for Newstead to play that one with them. I wonder why that song is
Yeah, I don't know why he would have chosen
Well, you know
that,
what?
but-
He was a big fan when he joined the band. I wonder if Fight Fire with Fire was one of his favorite Metallica songs.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Then we have Glenn Danzig comes out. They do Die 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 My Darling, Last Caress, and Green Hell. And Danzig sucks.
This is one of my least favorite parts of all the videos I watched. Was,
Which I've got to say, those three songs are some of my favorite Metallica covers.
yeah, for sure.
But he does.
Danzig is for a long time now has not been great
Yeah,
vocally.
I know.
Until recently, they've side note have recently done like a Misfits reunion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where it's like, well, I mean,
Didn't they have like a really unamicable split?
yeah, they've had lawsuits and all this stuff, and he went on and did Sam Hain and then Danzig. But Jerry Only, the bass player, has had the Danzig name, and they kind of co-share it. Like he can do merch and all. It's really weird. But recently, like Glenn Danzig, Jerry Only, and Doyle, all three of them got together. They've both played in different incarnations, but it's mostly Danzig and Jerry Only they've always butted heads. They've never come together until just last year at Riot Fest. They started doing Danzig shows with Dave Lombardo from Slayer on drums.
Whoa, really?
And Danzig actually the videos I saw from, I think, Riot Fest in Austin, I believe, sounded fucking awesome.
Have you seen that video on YouTube of a fan knocking Danzig out?
Oh, that's old.
Yeah.
It was a guy from a band called...
It was
I
like
think,
opening for them and they cut their time or something?
Yeah, I think they were like a really lame, like bro hardcore band from New Jersey, I think. New Jersey, maybe? Called Northside Kings.
Okay.
And that dude that knocked him out, I think ended up he really tried to capitalize off his fame of punching Glenn Danzig. I'm not kidding. I'm pretty sure he wrote a book.
How does one even do that? He wrote a book?
I'm not kidding. Dude.
He wrote a fucking book?
Yes.
What's it called?
I'm going to find out right now.
I punched Glenn Danzig one time.
Yes.
I punched Glenn Danzig. He fall down.
He fall down.
He fall down. I write book.
Let's see. I'm looking up real quick. Taking a quick little. Let's see. Northside Kings frontman working on book about Glenn Danzig's Punch Out. This was in 2012.
That's like a one-page book.
Oh, here. This might be it. Let's see. This is something different. I was hoping it was this called "Don't Ever Punch a Rock Star." The first thing, I'm not going to search for this for too long because this is not about.
Is there a hurdy-gurdy in the book?
There's no hurdy-gurdy, but yeah, Northside Kings frontman working on a book about Glenn Danzig Punch Out.
That is so lame.
Fucking get over.
I mean,
yourself.
whatever. Do whatever you want.
I'm that guy. You know,
I punch Danzig. I make bookie.
yeah. Someone like that.
He fall down. I make.
It
bookie.
makes me think of the guy that played football in high school and did really well, but then never did anything after that, and that's all he'll talk about the rest of his life.
Yeah.
This guy is probably only going to talk about how he punched out Glenn
Here
Danzig.
lies boring guy.
Yeah,
He punched Glenn Danzig one time, and Glenn Danzig fell down.
Yeah. But anyways,
I'll tell you
to
what.
say, Glenn Danzig sucked at the shows. He was
And-
out of breath. He didn't come in on time. Hatfield had to save him vocally a couple times.
And part of the reason he's so out of breath is because, I'll give it to the man. He's got a lot of energy on stage.
yeah.
I mean, it's
he does.
It's like, hey, maybe don't run around so much,
Right.
so that you can sing the fucking song.
Yeah. I mean,
But whatever.
Cool that he's there. Great for the fans.
Well, that's what is interesting. Is is at this point is Danzig just at a point where performing well doesn't matter, just as long as his presence so strong that he can just be there.
I think so.
And even just to know that even if he never got as big as Metallica, that he's one of the reasons Metallica exists. That's got to be a cool badge.
Very cool. Yeah.
All right, so then
And
they bring-
Metallica's probably also sold him a lot of records.
for damn sure.
yeah, and made him a lot of money.
For
so.
damn sure. So then Rob Halford comes out and they do Rapid Fire, which I think is
in full leather.
which I think is great.
It's awesome.
And those dudes were massive Judas Priest.
Oh, that's
cats.
another Hetfield feeling like a teenager moment. Like
Right.
when his Idols is on stage.
And Rob, I think Rob's kind of held it together, and he sounds okay.
yeah, I mean he's up there in
Yeah,
age.
yeah.
I mean he does good.
Okay, and then they end the night with Shocker, Seek and Destroy.
Awesome.
And then they dropped a bunch of white balloons, cool. They dropped a bunch of balloons in the crowd.
Yeah.
I love white balloons, man.
After After night number 2, Hetfield's like, you know what? We know what we were lacking?
You know what the only
White balloons. Can we drop some of those from the ceiling, please?
he has like a big meeting with management and shit. He's like, all right, guys, listen. I was thinking about it. I thought about it all night. The one thing we need, white balloons. Filled with heroin.
Filled with heroin. I mean,
Wait, that's for
we're in
Kirk.
San Francisco, right? You know, the
When in
Tenderloin's
Rome.
not far away.
When in Rome, fill a bunch of balloons with heroin and drop them from Fillmore on a bunch of fans' heads.
I was just recently in San Francisco. I had a couple days off on tour, and my wife is from the area up there, so I've spent a ton of time in the Bay Area, Oakland, and San Francisco, and East Bay and stuff. But it was
cool, man.
Hey, you know what I mean? I'm so East Bay. No, but it was fun. It was like, because we've been doing this podcast, it was fun to like walk around and just think like, I'm in like Metallica world right now.
For sure.
It was awesome.
I do that every time I go to. I'm lucky enough to be able to go work up in New York about 10 times a year, and I always sort of do like a little bit of a Kiss pilgrimage.
Oh, as you
like I go
should.
see their old rehearsal spot in Brooklyn and shit.
That's cool. That's awesome.
That's some real nerdy shit.
It is very nerdy. All right.
Okay,
Last show.
night. So at the beginning of this show, James, Robert, and Kirk come out and they sort of talk about how grateful they are for their fans, how tough it was to learn all of the songs. Kirk even had like a music stand with an iPad on it with like notes and charts and shit for some of it.
He was probably nervous. Like, he's probably not good at public speaking. He never does on stage.
No. I mean I notes and charts for the songs.
Oh, got it.
He wasn't like reading.
I thought, well, I don't know. That would make sense. Sorry, I jumped the gun and assumed.
Do you imagine Kirk like holding paper and it's just shaking because he's so
like,
nervous?
I just,
it's like he's in front of class.
I mean, dude, hey, Kirk, if you have stage fright or public speaking fear, I'm with you. I hate it.
But they talk about how tough it was, but they did it the quote, the Metallica way, sort of all or nothing.
Yeah.
They talk about Robert talks about how they're really hard on themselves and how the first minute or so of Suicide and Redemption the night before was kind of rocky, and they were like in a good way kind of pissed that they didn't nail it.
Yeah.
James says thanks for pushing Metallica to be better, calls them all family. I like that
That's
stuff.
great. Yeah, that's awesome.
They really are, in my opinion, a great example of like they have a really great relationship with their fans.
Yep, they do. There's not a lot of bands out there that do what they do with their fans and include them and make them feel part of Metallica.
Death Angel opens the show, which is cool. Lead singer is wearing a Jump in the Fire t-shirt.
Awesome.
And I think I don't know details about the other openers. I know they had like a brass band do like Sad But True and stuff.
Yeah, the Soul Rebels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Apocalyptica opened one of the shows.
I'm pretty sure Soul Rebels did every show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it wasn't like a full slot. They did like a couple of songs.
Yeah, they come out to...
Yeah, and I will say this: they do Sad But True, and James comes out and is basically like, "Man, we want to thank these guys. It's awesome." And he's like, "Man, Sad But True." He was like, "I was back there singing along." He's like, "Sad But True is one of my favorite songs."
That's awesome.
Which I was like, "That's cool." James likes Sad But True. They thank their employees again, and then Robert. They all leave the stage except for Robert, and Robert does a Cliff remembrance, where he talks about he was actually staying at Jim Martin's place when he was auditioning for the band.
Oh, wow.
And so he was staying in a room where Jim Martin, because Jim and Cliff were so close,
Right.
Jim had a big poster of Cliff. And Robert was like, "Man, I was just so in my head learning and shedding all these tunes that I looked up and I didn't even think about it. And there was this poster of Cliff looking at me."
Wow.
And he was like, "This is a little hokey, but I thought it was sweet." He was like, "I just remember like basically looking up at that poster and saying like, if I get this gig, I'm not going to let you down."
That's crazy. So this is before he got the gig.
This is 2003. This is when he was auditioning.
When he was auditioning. That's
Yeah.
so... Wow.
And then what do they open with? Orion.
That's awesome.
Which they've really honed that. And I will say on night 3 of the Copenhagen tour, because James had gotten sick, they built in Orion into the set to save his voice.
Good. As they should have. That's awesome. Yeah, and Robert does a great job with Cliff's parts.
He kills it.
Yeah, great job.
And I recently watched, I know that we're going to watch and do an episode on Through the Never, but I watched it the other night just because I wanted to. And during the closing credits, they play Orion.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sounds so good. Okay, so they open with Orion, then one of my favorites, Through the Never, and sounded great. Then another great one, Ride the Lightning.
The next few are great.
Dude, then The God That Failed.
Yep.
Then Welcome Home Sanitarium. Then they do an escape teaser.
Yeah, that's right. Because they can't bring themselves to play it.
Well, like Kirk and Lars are kind of excitedly doing it, and James is just not even having it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even try to play it. He hates it.
I don't get it, man. I love that song.
I guess if almost every other song you've written is like a metal classic, I can see why you might not like
Yeah.
Escape.
I don't know. The first time I heard Escape, I never thought, oh man, that's weird.
Me neither.
That was fucking awesome. I thought Trapped Under Ice was too poppy, but
Or Don't Tread on Me, which one? Rebel of Babylon, the last debut of the Beyond Magnetic.
Yes.
Okay. Blackened with the Met Club members, husband and wife. Wife plays drums,
Yep.
husband plays guitar, and they look like they're having a fucking blast.
God, yeah, I would.
Then I did think this was interesting. So they bring Bob Rock up, which we just did our Black Album episode, and it's interesting. Out of all the great shit he's done, they bring him up to play 2 Saint Anger songs. They do "Dirty Window" and "Frantic."
Yeah.
And I get it.
Do you think he chose those?
I can't imagine it. I imagine that they said, you know what, we want to have Bob up for something.
Now I will say that
Because who else would they have brought up for Saint Anger? Phil?
right, I mean, he played live shows with them.
What
on
if they
bass.
brought the therapist guy out?
Oh gosh, I'm glad that he was one of the guys that was not in attendance. He could have been there. I don't know.
Yeah, him and Jason might have had some altercations backstage.
Oh man,
But this is the dude who helped them do "Wherever I May Roam."
I know.
And fucking, all
Memory
those
Remains,
great Load
Fuel,
Reload.
yeah, for sure.
But he got stuck with fucking "Dirty Window," which I know we have listeners who love that stuff. So whatever.
But compared to what Bob Rock has done
totally.
prior to that record, yeah, kind of
Grammy
kind of a
award
bummer.
Grammy award winning "Better Than You."
Yeah, Grammy award winning guys. Come on.
Which, by the way, "Better Than You," glaring omission from these shows.
Yeah,
Then they bring out Geezer Butler and do "Sabracadabra."
yeah, which is on Garage Inc.
Then they bring out the man, Ozzy Osbourne, for Iron Man and Paranoid. Which, Ozzy's Ozzy. Like, he gets the crowd involved. He's not singing great these days, but
But it's Ozzy.
Ozzy's definitely at a point where I don't give a shit how he sounds.
Right.
Who cares?
I mean, just glance down at what's about to happen. You have Ozzy and Iommi out there, or
Geezer.
Geezer, and then you bring Jason back out. So if you're a member,
Dude,
you've
you're
already seen
watching
3 nights of Jason. Then you see members of Black Sabbath show up.
Dude, you're seeing Ozzy Osbourne at the Fillmore.
Yeah.
He's truly metal legend.
Oh yeah.
status.
Absolutely. 100%.
Jason comes out, does King Nothing, which is all I always thought was a great Jason song with that bass. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom.
That's one of my favorite songs from the Load Reload era.
They do Whiplash, and
Whiplash.
Jason sings it, which is just such a treat.
Rad. Oh yeah, it's so rad.
Then they bring out Hugh Tanner, who
Yep.
is a old high school friend who actually introduced James and Lars, and and he actually wrote Motor Breath with James.
Yeah.
And they play Motor, and dude, he looks like he's having so much fun.
So much fun.
And James actually says like, "Wow, like it took us 35 years to finally get on a stage together."
I know.
I wonder what kind of royalties he's been living off from Motor Breath, just from Motor Breath.
I mean, that record sold a couple million. Surely,
And it still sells. It was in the top selling metal records of last year.
I mean, I know that like on the back of the record it doesn't have like his last name on it,
Right.
But I'm sure there's a percentage that goes to him,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
sure.
It's
Yeah.
I'm sure they just put like the primary songwriters,
Right.
you know.
Or maybe they paid him. I've been involved with some songwriting stuff where they basically just bought my publishing,
Yeah.
paid me up front.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll ask Hetfield when we go see him in Nashville when we buy those $2,000 tickets.
Or when they're given to us by Torben Ulrich.
I think I could make a call for you. I know a guy who knows a guy who plays tennis.
I know the drummer. But the night kind of ends with all this Kill 'Em All shit. Then they do. So then they bring out.
This is like almost like the headlining slot of all 4 nights right here.
Because they bring out fucking Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, Dave Mustaine. So the big 4 shows of a couple have happened at this point.
Right.
They did more the following summer, or actually the summer of 2011. They did more, but freaking Dave Mustaine comes out and plays Phantom Lord, Jump in the Fire, Metal Militia, Hit the Lights, and joins them on Seek and Destroy. And Mustaine fucking rips.
He does.
Oh, I just hit my pop screen. I'm so excited about this. I
actually thought you just got shocked.
I was doing hand gestures. Sorry. Mustaine rips those solos.
I know. He does. He does a great job.
And just has his head down and just killing it, playing it flawlessly. And Kirk's probably over there going like, oh, bummer. Damn it. But he wrote that shit.
He definitely wrote Jump in the Fire. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean the solos?
Like a lot of the leads is what Kirk had to redo on the record. Or had to,
at least the first 8 bars or first 4 bars. Yeah. I will say the only thing that's a little weird about it, and I think this is just Dave's personality, is he doesn't seem loose, and he doesn't seem like he's like he doesn't go have fun with anybody.
Yeah.
He walks over to the riser a little bit, but he never leaves stage right. Whereas Newstead's prowling the stage.
But Mustaine's kind of like that with Megadeth. If you watch live Megadeth stuff, I mean, he's not running all over the place. He's just kind of chilling there, headbanging. We'll occasionally go back to the amps, over to the drum riser, maybe with Ellefson a little bit.
I just wish there was more of him smiling and having fun It's not a Megadeth show.
Too much red hair in his face. You couldn't tell. He probably was grinning.
Jesus, dude. When's he going to get a different hair thing? When's he going to change his hair, man?
I'm fine with it.
Really?
At this point, I mean...
It looks like he's never ever done anything to his hair ever.
That's very possible. I mean, he cut it a little bit short, like in the 90s. Not like short, but like it was shorter. But, you know, I think his hair, that red hair, it's just a part of him.
Do you consider it red hair?
It's kind of like orange.
I consider it blonde, but my wife considers it red. I have like a color blind issue. It looks blonde to me.
Like straight blonde?
Like if someone was like, what color is Dave Mustaine's hair? I would say blonde.
Really? I think kind of a...
It looks like kind of a dead blonde.
How about this? Strawberry blonde? Can we settle on that?
Can we meet halfway at strawberry blonde?
Let's do it, yeah. That sounds metal. Well, cool. I mean, I thought that was fun. I hope everyone listening enjoyed the episode.
I'm not sure we ever need to do anything like that again.
I thought we were going to cover other shows. We're going to do the big four.
Jeez.
I don't know. I had a good time talking through these songs. You were just talking to us about set lists, essentially, you know? So, I don't know. You guys let us know. Email us.
Yeah, actually, yeah. We really appreciate the constructive criticism. So,
yeah, for sure. We're a bit confused as we're finishing this. I enjoyed it, but it's a weird subject to tackle, I guess.
Yeah.
So let us know. Email us and at metalupyourpodcastshow@gmail.com. And you know, did you enjoy it? Were you like, don't do that again?
Yeah.
Don't cover shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like.
Or maybe
shows.
if you're going to cover a show, don't do 4 shows in a row. Because we just basically covered 4 entire shows.
But would it be more boring if we did 4 episodes of this one thing, one show each?
I think so.
I think that'd be more boring.
Yeah.
I'd rather cram it all in. I don't know. We'll see. You guys let us know. And as always, go on social media, follow us, Metal Up Your Podcast on Instagram, Metal Up Your PC on Twitter, Facebook. Just search for us. I don't care about Facebook as much, but I will respond to you. It's just not as fun.
I don't care about it as much, but I will be checking it all day.
I will be checking it all the time, but I don't really care though.
I will be in my underwear at my
It's
computer.
just, I don't know. It's
it.
just the one that it's starting to remind me of MySpace, where it's just like so much shit. And I'm just like, I just want to put this there.
Dude, I haven't been on Facebook in almost 4 years.
I'm proud of you.
And it's been great. You should consider jumping ship.
Maybe we have to hire somebody to respond to the few people that do comment on there, though.
We'll just have a whole staff.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Things are really growing.
Staff.
Yeah, we're going to have a staff of about 35 people
Totally.
here soon.
All right, so that's all for the episode, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Make sure you email us, metalupyourpodcastshow@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time.
See ya.
If you were our advisor, what would you say? Then I would say, delete that.